Well, last time we looked at driving straight, and roads of course have corners, and cornering technique is very important on your driving test. Now there are a few basic things which we'll go through, so let's get started. Seatbelt, of course. Good time. Let's go and do some corners. So let's have a look at what we need to do to go around corners, because the way you do this, very important on the test, also for safety and control of the car generally. And once again, as with driving straight, unless it's a really tight corner, if you're doing a handbrake turn or drifting or something, it's a little different. Well, we might look at that a bit later, but certainly not for your driving test. So what we want to do is very gentle movements, unless the corner is a really tough one. So let's have a look and see how this actually works. Signal, crank your head around, don't just rely on the mirror, the old exorcist head spin. Now here we go. So we have a corner here, and I'm going to drive into the corner and just turn the wheel gently, just enough to get around the corner. Notice the hand over hand steering. Now in some countries they like a push-pull system where you're doing this. Now in order to pass the driving test in some places they make you do that, but not here. And the hand over hand system is much more effective. You can get more control, you can be more accurate, and it's a whole lot quicker in an emergency. Now let's have a look at what we need to do here. We've got a small right turn. I only turn the steering wheel a little bit here, and I'm going to make a left turn here, so I'm going to signal because we have a stop sign. We'll come to a stop in our official legal stopping position behind the sidewalk here. Check for traffic, and we'll creep forward. And watch what I'm doing here. I'm going straight now, turning the wheel hand over hand, avoiding the paint in the center of the road, and then easing the wheel back again. When I'm about 3/4 of the way around the corner, we're going to make a left turn here. So nice and slow into the corner. When there's a gap in the paint, we'll go through it. And again, slow in and hand over hand steering. We get 3/4 of the way around the corner. I can ease the wheel back. Don't wait till you've completed the turn, because the wheels will still be turned in the other direction. So it depends on the radius of the corner, how much pressure you should put. But like driving straight, it's really important just to use enough pressure to turn the car. Here we come up to another right hand, so I'm going slow in. I won't even need to do much hand over hand, just turn the wheel a little bit. And what I'm doing, I'm looking ahead when I'm about 3/4 of the way around the corner. I'm making sure I'm looking into the distance, because that way you have more control of the car. You know what's happening up ahead, and it's a whole lot easier to drive in a straight line. Now I'm coming into the corner, a little bit of braking action, turning the wheel, not too much to get around the corner. I might need a little bit more, so I turn a little bit more, and then 3/4 of the way around I'm easing the wheel there. You don't want to be wrenching the wheel around as some people do. It's really very uncomfortable, and you can lose the grip on the road. Here we are again, slow into the corner, turn the wheel just enough to get around the corner, ease the wheel back to the center position as you come around. Don't wait till you've actually turned the corner, and then we can set off ahead, looking as far ahead as possible. We see another corner coming up, and this one is a left-hand corner. What we want to do, it's a very wide corner. You don't want to go too close to the curb. It would encourage somebody else behind to pass when they shouldn't. So here we go. A little bit of braking action, a little bit of brake pedal. We go into the corner. I'm turning the wheel. I'll need to turn it a bit more, the hand over hand technique. I'm going to ease it back as we come around the corner. At the same time, I'm looking ahead as far as I can, and I'm giving a little bit of pressure on the accelerator. And if you do that, it's a very smooth ride for yourself, for the passengers, and of course the examiner if you're doing this on your test. And it's the safest way to do it. Now this time we're going to make a right turn at the stop sign, so I'm going to signal to the right, come to a stop in the official stopping position behind the sidewalk. Come to a stop. 1, 2, 3, move forward. I'm checking for traffic on the left. I'm checking for pedestrians on the right as well. Notice my hand movement. It's the hand over hand. I'm easing the wheel back and then accelerating away. We'll make another right turn here at the stop sign. So we will come to a stop, this time behind the white line, because that's our priority. White line, then the sidewalk, then the edge of the curb. So 1, 2, 3, away we go. A little bit of forward action, turning the wheel enough to take the car around. I'm looking ahead now and easing the wheel around as I complete the turn, and a little bit more gas as we go down the road. So what we're going to be doing is we will make a right turn at the lights here. So I'm signaling right and coming to a stop behind the white line here with the light red. Now, it's possible to turn right on a red, but you have to come to a complete stop first. So we've stopped, we'll creep forward, we'll look for traffic on the left, we'll look for anything like a pedestrian or a cyclist over on the right before we actually make the turn. You see, I haven't turned the wheel that much. You don't need to overdo the turning. People tend to want to oversteer the car the whole time, whether you're driving straight or whether you're driving around a corner. You don't need to do that. You can be very, very gentle on the controls. You have more control, and as I said before, it's more comfortable as well. We're going to go right here, so we will signal to the right, turning into the right lane, checking to see if no one's barreling through on a motorcycle, for example, on our right side there. We'll come to a stop behind the white line. Turning the wheel to get the corner set up. You don't want to creep forward without turning the wheel. It leaves too big a space on the right side here. Now, we're going to creep. We can't see what's happening on the sidewalk. We're going to go very slowly in case a pedestrian decides to leap across. And I'm looking for traffic on the left, and I'm also looking for pedestrian traffic on the right constantly. And when it's clear, we can go. And again, just enough turning of the wheel and then back the other way. Being gentle. That's so important really when you drive, and you don't need to do all this pent-up action. Even on a race car, it's all about finesse. Driving, whether you're on the racetrack or whether you're driving on the road, it's all about finesse. So we're going to go right at the light here. So I'm signaling, checking for traffic, pedestrian traffic, cyclists on the right, coming into the right lane. Once again, we have a red. So I'm going to come to a nice stop behind the white line here. 1, 2, 3, and then creep forward again. You got to make sure that there's no pedestrian coming across the crossing on your left. Check on the right for pedestrians and cyclists. See just a small turn off the steering wheel. Ease it back as you come around the corner. Minimal action. That's what it's all about, turning corners. Minimal action, unless it's a very, very tight corner. So we'll make a left turn at the stop sign here. So I'm signaling, coming to a stop behind the white line, and I'll roll forward. I won't turn right away. People tend to cut corners, as they call it. You go out into the center and then make your turn, because you don't want to be too close to any traffic that might be there on the left. So these suburban corners are very much, I guess, square corners, if you want to say it like that, because you don't want to make them too much in the way of a curve, because you can end up encroaching on traffic coming on the other side. So our next corner, we're going to make a right turn, and this road has a slight bend in the left, and I didn't use very much pressure to turn that at all. Now I'm going to signal for the corner on the right, coming up here. Nice bit of brake action, checking ahead for any traffic, checking on the right for any pedestrians, cyclists, and I'll do my hand over hand again. Then looking ahead and easing back on the gas and easing the wheel around. We'll make another right turn here. So we signal right, slow in, fast out, remember. Check for pedestrians, cyclists on the right, hand over hand again, accelerate out of the corner. Most people don't do that. They go into the corner too quickly, and that means they've got to be slow coming out. And it's your speed out of the corner that determines your speed on the straightaway, whether it's a racetrack or a road. So it's actually a quicker way of driving. A lot of people think it's a bit sissy to slow right down before you get to the corner. No, it isn't. It's actually a quicker way of driving. So I'm slowing right down here. Most drivers will come in a little quicker, and then I can accelerate out of the corner when I'm about halfway around. And over any kind of a distance, I'm going to be quicker than somebody else, and it's more of a smooth thing too. And that's going to impress the examiner on the driving test. So here we go again. A little bit of braking action here, turning the wheel only enough to get around the corner, and then easing back the other way as we come around. And that's the way you take the corners. If you do that on the test, you're not going to have a problem at all. Steering is absolutely crucial, of course. It might seem basic, but that's what it's all about. Now we'll come to a stop here, and again, just gently bringing the car in towards the curb and coming to a stop. So slow in, fast out, looking ahead when you're 3/4 of the way around the corner, and only use enough pressure on the steering wheel to get you around the corner, and hand over hand, not the sort of frenetic push-pull thing that happens in a lot of countries.
Okay guys, this is how you make turns. Thank you so much for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.